Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late, and that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This podcast is brought to you by Ragu Old World Style Traditional Sauce. A great sauce starts with the best ingredients. Ragu Old World Style Traditional Sauce is that great sauce. Inspired by our founder's original recipe, Ragu Old World Style Traditional Sauce is made with delicious ingredients, including vine-ripened tomatoes, chopped onions, garlic, and olive oil, simmered together for the authentic taste you and your family will want to come back to. For recipes, sauces, and mealtime inspiration, visit ragu.com.
Christopher Media, let's make some noise. Welcome to Beer Nuts, a weekly excursion into the world of craft beer, brought to you by MichiganBeerGuide.com. And now, here are the Beer Nuts.
Number 150.
All right.
Yeah, I know, right? Wish there were more of us. No, definitely not a six-pack tonight. But I'm Chris. I am in Des Moines, Iowa. My last Untapped check-in was... Damn it, I forgot it. It was Lawson's Finest Liquids, Liquid Gold, I believe. Or Liquid Sunshine, my bad. From Uncle Pete's New England Adventure.
Cool. I'm glad you liked it.
I did.
I assume you did anyway.
All
right. Uncle Pete here in Rockwood, Michigan. My last Untapped check-in was the Mo Cash Tequila Barrel Aged Brute IPA from Black Rocks Brewery in Marquette, Michigan. I happened to drink that sample of beer at the Fall Michigan Beer Festival at Eastern Market this past Saturday. So that was one of about at least 15 beers that I tried that day. So, but it was the last one I checked in.
Very good. All right. Hey, everybody. This is Greg in Dearborn, Michigan. And my last Untapped check-in was Sap from Treehouse Brewing Company. They're 7% IPA. Absolutely gorgeous beer. Just no words can explain it. So good stuff.
From Boston.
Cool.
Well, we welcome our listeners tonight. And if you're just joining us, please... join us and have a beer, pull out a cold one, whatever kind you like. Even though we're talking about stouts tonight and the beginning of, well, not the beginning, but for us, we're going to break into stout season and taste a few good stouts. But please pop a top on your favorite libation and enjoy one while you're joining us for tonight's episode.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So I'm going to jump in and kick it off. I've got a bomber of stout here. It's a Russian stout. However, it actually was brewed in Norway, and the name of the brewery was Kinn Brewery. That's Kinn, and this is called Brezhnev. And the label actually has a picture of Leonid Brezhnev, who used to be a former Soviet leader. And he's holding up a big pint glass of stout and toasting. So I'm going to tell the backstory on this while I open it and pour it. My neighbors here went on a Norwegian cruise this past spring and actually brought me back this bomber and gifted it to me as a memento of their trip. So they knew that I was into beers. And I'm really grateful that they did that for me. So I'm going to pour this. Oh, and it's very nicely carbonated. This is an 8% stout. They say that it was inspired by a mid-19th century London recipe. This Kinn Brewery, apparently, in Norway, they opened in 2009. And their specialty has been really in the Belgian beers and English beers. So they used a number of different malts in this beer, in this stout, and English aromatic Fuggle hops. And it's quite highly hopped, actually, with a 70 IBU rating. So this could be rather dry. So I'm going to give it a look. Pours very good darkness, but at the edge of your glass, you can definitely detect a dark copper color around the rim. So it's not completely black. And it does have a beautiful, long-lasting tan head on it. Very creamy head, highly carbonated. And it smells so good, like just smells like a stout. If I had to do a blind taste test, a blindfolded, I could tell just from smelling it was a stout. Definitely has notes of coffee and chocolate on the nose. And I've had this bottle out and been letting it warm up for about 45 minutes. And I'll tell you, this is a dry stout, tasting it. It has a very light body compared to a lot of pastry stouts and sweet milk stouts. This is not a pastry stout or a milk stout. Very bitter. A lot of bitterness coming through from the Fuggles hops. This really hits your mouth and basically dries you out. It does have a lot of great natural chocolate and coffee flavors, but it is light on the palate, kind of like Guinness to me. It has a mouthfeel like a Guinness, and it's very pleasant and pleasing in that way. It's one of those ones that's lower alcohol, lighter bodied, which to me means, yeah, you could drink a few of these and make a good evening of it with a couple of friends. So they did use a London ale yeast for this brew, so it stands to reason to me that there's a lot of similarities here to a Guinness stout. However, I think this one is much more hopped by far than Guinness is. Just checking the website, this beer won a gold medal in 2016 at the Barcelona Beer Challenge. And it goes well with dark desserts, chocolate cake, or just by itself. For me, I happen to be sitting here, and I rated the Halloween candy bowl early, and I'm pairing this with a Kit Kat, and it's actually not that bad. So happy Halloween, and if you like a good stout, maybe you should break one out and pair it with some of the chocolate Halloween candy.
Or if not, that's okay too.
Yeah. So I doubt if the other guys have had this one, and I did put a picture up on the Beer Nuts production team sites so you could see it. It is very good. I wish I could share. And I'm very grateful for my neighbors gifting this to me from across the Atlantic on a big trip that they took. So Ken does have a lot of other beers, and they're all labeled and very similarly, mostly with caricatures of famous people on them. So might be a beer to watch for in the international section of some of our bottle shops. If you see any, Greg, it's called Kin, K-I-N-N.
I will definitely have to take a look for it next time I'm at one of those stores, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I'm just happy that this beer tastes good. And, I would be concerned after so many miles and months. I doubt that this is a beer you'd want to age indefinitely like some of the higher gravity pastry stouts that are aged in bourbon barrels. This one's not barrel aged, and it's not a high gravity. But I think, fresh until right about now is perfect. So I'm very pleased with it.
Sounds delicious.
Thanks. So with that, I'll pass it over to the next beer nut to let's go taste another beer.
I think that's me, so I will try to follow that great beer review from Uncle Pete here with my own. I am introducing here Griffin Claw's Growler's Grace, which is their second in their Survival Series beers. I think the first one they released in July of 2019 was a Piping Plover Pilsner. So this one is like I said, Growler's Grace. It's a banana stout, and description that first off, comes in a 16-ounce can. So, nice little label here with a gorilla footprint, and looks like the Detroit Zoo logo, or at least one of their logos underneath. So, little description on it from them is: an alluring nose of subtle banana leads you into this roast forward stout that coats your tongue and goes down with the grace of a growler gorilla. This package highlights the Detroit Zoological Society's collaboration in a worldwide initiative to provide rescue and rehabilitative care for these great apes to ensure their survival. So a great cause. Cool. And let's see how cool of a beer it is. So upon first inspection here, it kind of pours out like a cola. It's not super dark, super dense, so I can see like an orangish brown hue to it here in the glass. Bubbles were compact. They didn't last too long. This is just a 6% beer, but for what poured out, didn't last too long. But very nice looking beer here in the glass. So first smell, whoa! There's a lot of banana in this. Oh my gosh, this is almost coming off like a Belgian stout to me. I mean, the amount of the amount of banana that I'm getting. Oh my goodness, it's like an overripe banana. I'm almost getting some almost like a bananas. Is it a bananas Foster? Yeah, where it's like burnt caramel. You get that charness to it.
Wow,
it's really smells delicious. So, first taste. Okay. So, unlike the nose, in the taste, it's not very banana forward. You get a little like a vanilla. I mean, you get a little banana, sure. There is some like a vanilla, like a creamy vanilla in there as well. It's really, really delicious. It's kind of a thinner style beer, but it coats the mouth well for what it is. And not bad. I mean, I'm usually not a huge banana in my beer type, person, but this comes off pretty good, and it's definitely for a good cause. So I certainly could support this. I think I paid like $2 for this can. It's a 16-ounce can, so it was pretty affordable.
Yeah,
it seems like Griffin Claw always has pretty affordable stuff, and good stuff. Really, really good stuff.
Yeah, I mean the banana tastes authentic. Doesn't taste fake in any way.
Well, it's really hard to say, Pete. I mean, I really don't know how well these extracts these days are. You obviously are one of the brewers of the whole production here, so maybe a little bit more of if they come across fake tasting, or maybe there's some better ones compared to others. But it's got a little bit maybe fake banana, like almost kind of like the fake banana like candies or something like that, or even like a banana chip type smell, like those dried bananas that you get as a chip. So it's fairly similar to that, but overall this is a nice little treat to start out with. And,
interesting. And it's very sweet.
Let's see. You get a little sweetness to it. There is a little bitterness on the back end. I'm glad you're asking these questions, Pete, because I definitely would have been thinking about that. But yeah, and that tastes like that little vanilla sweetness to it.
Oh.
But as you're swallowing it, you're getting that roast that they were talking about in the description, and it adds a little bitterness to it. So it's got a little bit of everything. Good stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't come across many banana, beers with banana in it. I have had one that was a Banana Foster's beer. I can't remember who made that.
Is that Oddside?
Yeah, I think so. And it wasn't bad, but
I got much banana off that one, to be honest. But this one definitely is like a banana, definitely in your face but like that Belgian kind of burn to it as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was reading about this one online. It was saying, and you mentioned it, that it was, a lot money that was raised from the sales of this beer goes to a good cause to help, what kind of gorillas we're talking about?
It's grower, but it's Eastern Lowland gorilla out of like the Democratic Republic of the Congo is where they're located.
So I guess Griffin Claw is connected with some groups that are into, wildlife, preservation, and this is one of a series of beers that they're coming out with.
Yep, they got 2 more. Yep,
and
this is, I guess, would be all through the Detroit Zoo. So.
Yeah, it's being sold at the zoo at the what's that called? The Zoo Brew or something. There's a one night a year they do the Zoo Brew.
Yeah, Zoo Brew. Yeah,
that's kind of cool. Get people to come out to the zoo and drink beer and look at the animals.
Let the animals judge you for a change, right?
yeah. So, that's neat. That's pretty neat.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm always worried about, a fake banana taste. Like that candy. I can't stand the banana candy.
Yeah, from like Runts or whatever they are, yeah.
Any of that.
Yeah.
But I could eat, dried banana chips and stuff like that, but it's real. That's real stuff.
Yep.
But anything that's like, some generated aroma or, what do they call that? A substance. What's the word I'm thinking of? Essence. An essence.
Yeah. There you go.
Of banana. Yeah, that doesn't cut it for me.
Yeah. Cool. Mr. Chris, are you next, sir?
I am. And I have a from, what's it called here? Single Speed Brewing in Waterloo, Iowa. I am in Des Moines. I have something called Tip the Cow. It is a cocoa espresso milk stout. And I can tell you, I've already had a couple sips. JR, you would love this, wherever you're at. If you're listening to this, I'm going to read from the can here. It says, have you ever reveled in the essence of a chocolate-covered espresso bean? How about in the form of a beer? This full-bodied creamy milk stout has been touched by the gentle hand of Sidecar coffee roasters, resulting in a rich but smooth option, boasting notes of roast and cocoa alongside velvety sweetness. And you pour this thing, there was a nice, big old, thick, creamy, like, tan head on it. It's still kind of there. There is no light getting through this at all. I mean, this beer is dark. You stick your nose in it, and oh man, it is coffee, just coffee, and then right at the end, that cocoa comes in, and a little bit of that sweetness from the malt. Give it a sip. Oh, yes. I believe a couple weeks ago we were talking about beers you can chew. This is one of them.
All right.
I mean, this is... Oh, man. If you like coffee and you like chocolate, oh, man. I mean, this is... Oh. It's a nice... It's a nice mixture of coffee and chocolate on your palate. There's nothing really forward. It's a really good. Usually with something like this, you'll either be coffee forward or chocolate forward. This is a really good mix of it. It's 6.2 ABV, 34 IBUs, so drinkable. But, oh man, this is it makes me when I see Single Speed Brewing, or if I am in Waterloo, which I will be here probably about a month. I'm going to seek out more beers from this brewery, because if this is how they do stouts, I am interested in seeing how they do other beers. So, Tip the Cow. Thumbs up.
The cow. Cow tipping.
Yeah. And there's an upside down cow on the label, or on the can, I should say.
I think that's like the national pastime or the state pastime of Iowa or something.
Yeah, because it's hills and it's hills and farms, but to tell you, maybe in Nebraska, possibly Kansas. This whole section of the country, it's a big farm.
And we thank them for it.
Yes.
I will admit I've been out on a midnight run and tried cow tipping, so after quite a few beers with a lot of my fraternity brothers back in college. And we snuck up on some cows, and I got down in my football lineman stance and took off the line, and I ran into that cow and basically bounced right off. The cow he didn't budge.
I was just going to ask, which sorority was this?
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Yeah,
all right.
I know what you're talking about. Not that kind of cow. So, that sounds great, Chris. You sound very happy drinking that beer, and I love the sound of a happy beer drinker.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be one worth trying. I mean, a perfect blend of chocolate and coffee.
Yeah, it's hard to find. So, Pete, I think it's your turn again.
Oh, if I must. All right, then. I got to work my way through this bomber of Brezhnev from Kin still.
You can do it.
Well, I'm going to have a hard time after this next one because this next one is going to be almost double the alcohol, and it's a barrel-aged beer. This one's from Bell's Brewing in Comstock, Michigan, called Blackbeard's Bear Hug. And this is aged in rum barrels with vanilla beans, toasted coconut, and a pinch of cinnamon bark. Mm. So this is going to be a very sweet pastry stout, probably very creamy and vanilla. Between the rum barrel and the vanilla beans themselves, it's just going to be smooth as silk. But it's high alcohol, 14.4%, and we'll see if that comes through. I doubt it with all of the sweetness and all the additives in here. But this is brand new from Bell's. Was very expensive for a 4-pack. But I thought I'd take the jump, dive in, and I'm probably going to cherish these because basically it says unlimited storage and aging shelf life. So I'm going to sit on a couple for quite some time. I will mention, too, that one of the reasons I was able to lose about 60 pounds so far this year is that I cut way back on these kind of beers. But I'm going to make an exception tonight, and I don't mind because I feel good. Oh, very interesting. Wow. Wow, what an interesting pour. Woo. And the aroma just hit me, too, from the tabletop to my nose. But this beer just poured almost like soda pop in terms of the carbonation. It's like it fizzed up real quick, and boom, the head was gone. And what's left on the head is like it's almost a film of, and I'm going to suspect this is probably from the coconut. It looks like a oily film, kind of. There's like particulate matter in there as well. It may be residue of coconut or vanilla bean right there in the beer. But coconut does tend to have some oils in it, just like cocoa nibs do. As a home brewer, I've used both coconut flakes and cocoa nibs, ground up cocoa beans in my beers. And in both cases, I did detect some little bit of oily residue on the surface. So it's not real good for head retention, but I think that will give way to a lot of pleasure in terms of aroma and taste. So this beer is black as black can be. You cannot see a thing through it. And the aroma is just hitting me. I could smell rum. I smell coconut and vanilla. It's all very, very present. I smell the cinnamon. Yeah, it's all there. I mean, this is like closing your eyes in a bakery where they've just pulled all of the wonderfully warm donuts out of the oven and set them under your nose. Honest to God.
Oh, man.
Okay, here we go. Let's take a swig. Wow. That's busy. Very strong on the cinnamon. Yeah, that cinnamon's pretty predominant in my opinion. It has a mouth coating, syrupy, sticky kind of mouth coating body. This is a strong beer. When I take a taste, and right after getting the beer in your mouth and you open your mouth to inhale, yeah, there's a warmth from the alcohol there. After you've had a chance to let the beer pass, yeah, the coconut comes through, and the vanilla smoothness. It's a very interesting combination. I mean, if you like, rum drinks and coconutty rum drinks, this is something that you would probably like. I can see that this is a young beer. Let's see if the bottle has a date on it here. Packaged on October 9th, so...
Ooh, really young. Wow.
What's that, 2-3 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm certain that this is going to develop over the course of some time on the shelf in the cellar. But it's okay to drink a beer fresh, and I should mention that, a lot of people may think that stouts, you should age, but that's not true. I think all beers, when they're fresh, it's a good beer. They don't all have to be, set aside and wait until it gets better. So I can appreciate this beer for what it is as a fresh beer. And it also gives me a basis to compare now, 6 months, a year, or 2 years down the road. When I do open another one, I can recall what it was like fresh compared to how it tastes down the road. So, no, this is wonderful, and I wish you were here, Greg and Chris, to share. It's interesting to me. It's just, if you've ever seen the surface of this beer, has just got all kinds of stuff floating on top. I mean, it's just like an oily film of coconut bits, and it almost looks unpleasing, but I know that it's all good stuff in there, so it doesn't bother me.
Sure.
Somebody else that's looking at this might go, ew, that's kind of funky. So I think they did a good job with it. I'd say the appearance is going to be something that's going to be talked about quite a bit. As people, if you read reviews on Untappd or other Beer Advocate or other rating sites. But I would recommend this beer, even though it's expensive. I think a 12-ounce bottle came in around $7. So I'm going to savor this one tonight and probably sleep very well.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, sir.
Yeah, wow, this is really, I'm starting to feel like a pirate.
And we passed pirate days, so you don't have to stretch that R out too much.
So that's Bell's Blackbeard's Bear Hug Imperial Stout, aged in rum barrels with vanilla, cinnamon, and coconut.
Well, I know you'll be enjoying that whole 4-pack throughout the next few months. I'm jealous of it, so.
Well, I hope to share one with you down the road.
That'd be cool. That would be cool.
ChristopherMedia.net.
This podcast is brought to you by Ragu Old World Style Traditional Sauce. A great sauce starts with the best ingredients. Ragu Old World Style Traditional Sauce is that great sauce. Inspired by our founder's original recipe, Ragu Old World Style Traditional Sauce is made with delicious ingredients, including vine-ripened tomatoes, chopped onions, garlic, and olive oil, simmered together for the authentic taste you and your family will want to come back to. For recipes, sauces, and mealtime inspiration, visit ragu.com.
If you're looking for COVID-19 testing, look into Quest, the lab that's processed over 25 million tests and counting. You can get the same test hospitals use without a doctor visit. Simply order online, select from drive-through or at-home options, and get results sent securely to your phone or computer. It's experience and accuracy you can trust from Quest, the largest medical testing lab in the country. So order today at questcovid19.com. That's questcovid19.com.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late, and that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the name your price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The name your price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
ChristopherMedia.net.
So I guess I got my second one, and I'm following you up, Pete, with the same kind of alcohol ABV jump here, where mine was 6% on the first one. I'm now jumping to a 15% stout with just like you, Pete. It's got a lot going on here. This is from Aslan Brewing Company out of Herndon, Virginia. This is Interlopers. This is their Imperial Stout brewed with blueberry, almonds, coconut, vanilla, and maple. And it comes in a 16-ounce can. And I'm about to pop the top here for the first time. I guess they released this back in May, so unlike your beer, Pete, this has got a little bit of age on it. I rinsed out my glass pretty good, so just a little info on Aslan from my experience here. I've had a few of their stouts in the past, and you know, the first time I saw an Aslan stout and it said 15%, I just, my jaw hit the floor. It's like, oh my gosh. But upon drinking these stouts, it's like they hide that alcohol so well. I mean, it's dangerous here. So if you didn't actually read the label, you wouldn't even knew you were drinking a 15% stout. So poured it right out, and that head disappeared like nobody's business. Dark as can be, very khaki brown head to it. What was there? Yeah. Oh no, she's gripping the glass really well for a 15% stout, no doubt about it. All right, first smell on this. Oh, you're getting that blueberry is the first thing I get. A lot of that blueberry first. Little vanilla sweet, probably the vanilla and the maple sweetness to it. Maybe a little bit of boy, it's very sweet. Just everything about it is sweet. So it's definitely one of those pastry stouts for sure. Absolutely gorgeous. I picked it up with a trade here from a guy local here, so certainly grateful for him for meeting me with me to trade for this sucker. So let's take a first sip here. Oh, I mean, there it is. I mean, just it's 15%, but this thing's drinking like 8. This is so dangerous. Great. I mean, just mouth coating, a super thick beer, very sweet. You know what? On the smell, where I got that blueberry, and the taste, I'm getting, just more of that vanilla and maple. I think that coconut. I mean, I'll have to let this thing warm up a little bit, but I think that coconut may have faded a decent amount. So, which is expected. I've had that experience before with coconut beers, but I'm getting a little as more as that beer warms up in my mouth. I get a little more of that blueberry. I mean, this is fantastic. I mean, it's not. It's I think Aslan. You have to pick it up in the brewery. So, fortunately, this is not like distributed around the country, or they're pretty small from what I understand. But they're packing a big punch with their stouts. They're doing an absolutely fantastic job. Bitterness, there's really, it's very light especially compared to that Growler's Grace that I had before. I don't know. In terms of almonds, maybe so. Maybe more if it was fresh, you could have picked up a little bit of that nuttiness to it. But definitely blueberries, vanilla, and maple, and maybe a little chocolate tea-ness to it as well. But this is a delicious beer from Aslan. Kudos to them.
Isn't it funny how so many flavors just kind of pop out after you give it a chance to sit there for a while?
And half an hour from now, as I'm still sipping on this, something else could come up, and and then be like, oh, there it goes. I could have mentioned it, but But yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's just a bag of tricks here. It's amazing how things just develop, for sure.
Those are the fun parts of stouts.
Yes,
is letting them warm up.
Yeah, I mean, the more I sip on this Bear Hug, and it's got the sweet dark rum flavor coming through and kind of a buttery, but it also has, it's funny, it's like almost chocolate cherry cordial coming out, so it's some cherry flavor.
Yeah, you say that, Pete, and I'm getting that kind of like with the blueberry here, like a chocolate covered blueberry.
Yeah.
It's really good. I mean, this was fantastic. I'm definitely going to be feeling it. With 15%, yeah, definitely. I'm sleeping good tonight.
Yeah.
And I got to work in the morning, so no big deal.
Well, I'm driving out to Kalamazoo first thing in the morning. Maybe I'll have to stop at Bell's and get some more of this. Did you want me to get you any?
We'll definitely talk about it for sure.
It's kind of steep, but... Well, anyway, I was going to talk for a moment just a little bit about stouts in general, if that's okay.
Yeah, please do.
And being a home brewer, and, I've thumbed my way through the BJCP guidelines, which is the beer judging guidelines for beer styles, and just looking through that a little bit, there's a number of different stouts that you've heard of, Irish stout, Irish extra stout, sweet stout, oatmeal stout, tropical stout, foreign extra stout, American stout, imperial stout, also porters, which are, really are porters. Porters and stouts are almost, nearly identical in terms of, the grain bills and the brewing process and all that. But stouts ended up being porters that were on the stronger end, really, of the spectrum. So they started calling stout porters, strong porters, they called them stout porters back in the old days, and then they just shortened that to stout. So, but anyway, there's a lot of stouts out there, so many to choose from. If you go to your local bottle shop or your local brewery, I mean, you're bound to find some. And I'd recommend, try different kinds, see what you like, because I think there's within the stout category itself, and you just heard me mention so many different subcategories. If you like them dry, they got dry. If you like them sweet, they got sweet, And if you like them bitter, they got bitter. If you like them heavy, they got heavy. Or light-bodied, they got light-bodied. They've got, pastry stouts with everything from, cookies to donuts to chocolate-covered fruit, cakes and pies. I mean, brewers, especially nowadays in the craft beer boom, brewers have just gone crazy with what they're putting in their stouts. And that's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun. But, some of these bottles can be high cal. And I can't imagine a guess on this Blackbeard's Bear Hug, how many calories are in that beer. But
I'm afraid to look at mine.
Yeah. If you're on a diet or trying to get into ketosis, this beer is not going to make that happen. So, but we love our stouts, and we like to say when the temperatures cool down in the fall like they are now, it's time to start breaking out the dark beers and, having your little campfires, break out the flannel, get a few friends and share some strong stouts and warm the soul. So if you're out there, please go by your local bottle shop or your local brewery and try a couple of stouts for a flight and see what you like. With that, we'll see if we got any hipster tipster before we get ready to sign off for the night.
Well, you can lead right into that, Pete, because you hit the beer festival this past weekend, or whatever. Yeah. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, just a quick mention: the Michigan Brewers Guild Fall Beer Festival was held at Eastern Market in Detroit. It's like a farmer's market, and just a really fun venue to have a beer fest. I did run into Dugout down there, our fellow beer nut Dugout, and we enjoyed a few beers together there. Also, I keep, when you go in, you get, with your ticket, you get 15 tokens, and typically with one token, you can get a 3 or 4 ounce sample of beer. There were many beers at the festival that were 2 token, 3 token, and 4 token. And I think it depended upon how strong they were or how expensive they may be if they were packaged. So I know I burned through all 15 of my tokens plus some extra ones that I had from previous years, which doesn't mean that I had 15 beers, but I think I actually had around 15 samples. So, and the funny thing is I was only there for 2 hours, so I actually was able to put up a sample of beer in under 10 minutes of beer. So I made some tracks once I got in there. I moved around quite quickly and really enjoyed the variety. I can't remember the numbers. It had to be something like, 120 breweries with, 1,000 beer offerings or something like that. And you can't go wrong. I mean, there's something for everybody. Even though it rained on Saturday for most of the beer fest that afternoon, it didn't matter. Everybody was prepared. There were most of the tents and sheds at Eastern Market offered shelter, so everybody, whether they were out in the rain and the sprinkles or whether they were inside, everybody was having a good time. I might mention the Michigan Brewers Guild has also now announced today that they're adding a seasonal beer fest in the spring. Mm-hmm. Coming up in spring 2020, they'll have a spring beer festival in Traverse City, Michigan, which is the home of many great breweries. Yeah. And that's going to add to now the Summer Fest, the Fall Fest, and the Winter Fest. So now we have a beer fest for every season.
Except for construction season. They just need one for that. That's it.
That's a year-rounder.
There you go.
But anyway, that's the news hipster tipster that I have. I know there's more interesting things out there. And Greg, maybe you have something to add.
Well, and unfortunately, Doug couldn't join us today, but he posted on our production Facebook page that today was the last day for, at least for our local listeners, Black Lotus Brewery out of Clawson. And I think they announced it, what was it, maybe a month ago or something like that they were looking to, or something was selling equipment, or some website was looking to sell equipment. It was pretty obvious that it was Black Lotus. And I remember seeing that, but that's a shame. You hate seeing local breweries like that, dissolve and close up. And I think Doug mentioned that basically they gave all their employees like a 2-day notice or something like that. So cheers to them. I've been there a couple times. Excellent brews over there. Great little local hangout place in Clawson. I know Doug out. He lives pretty close by, so within walking distance, and I'm sure he's enjoyed their place. More than we could say. But too bad for them, and hopefully whoever picks up all their equipment will find more success with it. So.
Yeah, I wish them all the best. Sorry to hear that they have to close up shop. I've been in Black Lotus. It's right there on the corner at the stoplight there in Clawson. Really only a couple blocks from Dugout's house. And it's sad to see the breweries go. I don't know what kind of headwinds they were facing or any troubles they might have been having, but it was a hard decision they had to make. So, yep. A lot of dynamic right now in the beer, in the brewing, craft beer industry. A lot of announcements and a lot of interesting change going on this year.
Yep. And then since we're on the Stout episode today. At least the timing of this recording, we're on a Wednesday, so this coming Saturday, Griffin Claw is releasing their newest version of their Flying Buffalo, their 2019 series.
Oh, yeah.
6 cans of one's their regular bourbon barrel aged Flying Buffalo, and I think they've got a new coffee one with Modern Times, salted caramel pecan, chocolate marshmallow almond. They're bringing their mole back.
Whoa.
And they have a Jamaican rum and vanilla variety. So that I'm definitely going to be standing in line in the cold, waiting for them to open at 11, and looking forward to this year's variants. So
that's on Saturday.
That is, yes, sir.
Wow, boy, all those sound great. I out of last year's variants, the mole was one of my favorites.
That was tops for me too.
Yeah,
for sure.
Full flavor.
So it's nice that they mixed it up quite a bit this year, and I think last year was they had a few more cans, maybe one more, but yeah, it's always a good release and good beers, and so looking forward to it.
Do you know if any of their stout variants are going to have the nitrogen widget inside the can, and you'll have a stout on nitro?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't believe so. That would be pretty cool, though. No. I mean, I've had Guinness with the little widget in there.
Yeah.
But I can't say I've had any other local breweries, with that. Does any bring back? Did you know of anybody that's done that, or?
No. I'm just curious because I was thinking about some stouts that I've had on nitrogen, not nitrous.
Yeah, whoa. Feeling high on that one, huh?
Yeah, I think my dentist could help me with that one.
Maybe so.
But
do a collab beer.
I should mention if you love a good stout and you can have it served to you on nitrogen, it will totally change your whole outlook because it's much different than just pouring a stout on carbon dioxide. When you pour a stout on nitrogen, it just becomes so creamy and velvety smooth, and it's a beautiful thing to watch, especially a Guinness on nitro. You could sit there for a good 2 minutes and watch that foam.
I was just about to say, how many steps does it take for a Guinness to be actually poured correctly? Is it 6 or 8 or something like that? Or
yeah. So it's just a cascading waterfall of nitrogen bubbles, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. I'm mesmerized by it. So
cool.
All right. Well, Chris, any tipster news from you or anything else going on?
No, that's fine. As far as I'm aware, you guys are the experts in that realm. You guys got your ears to the ground.
Yeah,
we're chasing the trucks.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
there you
hit
go.
the ground. I'm going to hit the ground here pretty soon after these beers.
Well, then I guess that's
a good episode.
Yeah, well, I guess that means that we should wrap it up. You guys with your 14 and 15 percenters. JR, Ross, you're with us in spirit. Know you guys both love stouts. Hopefully you can join us next time we do this. Maybe we'll do another one in the middle of winter, just because it'll be the middle of winter. But remember, we are on social media at Beer Nuts Podcast. Same thing, actually Twitter at Beer Nuts Podcast and Instagram at Beer Nuts Podcast. Tweet us or Instagram us what you're drinking. And we'll do the same for you. Beer Nuts Podcast at ChristopherMedia.net is the email. We're back on the weekly schedule. Every now and then, all the schedules collide, and we might miss a week here and there. But back on the weekly schedule. Check us out every weekend. And who does this when JR's not here? How do we sign off? Do we call him?
Give it my best shot.
You got it, Pete.
And as they say in old Mexico City, AMF.
ChristopherMedia.net.
This podcast is brought to you by Ragu Old World Style Traditional Sauce. A great sauce starts with the best ingredients. Ragu Old World Style Traditional Sauce is that great sauce. inspired by our founder's original recipe. Ragu Old World Style Traditional Sauce is made with delicious ingredients, including vine-ripened tomatoes, chopped onions, garlic, and olive oil, simmered together for the authentic taste you and your family will want to come back to. For recipes, sauces, and mealtime inspiration, visit ragu.com.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at homedepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.